What if the CEO is a problem and a narcissist? What if my boss is the difficult employee? That is the number one question I get from my students every time when I'm delivering leadership training on how to deal with difficult people at work or how to manage through narcissistic behavior. Before I go on, do me and do you a favor and like this video, subscribe to this channel, and then tell me your thoughts and experiences down below. Now, there's a moment in everyone's life when the rules change, not because a policy changed, but because trust was broken quietly. It almost always starts the same way. You make one mistake, not a catastrophic one, not something that tanked the business, just a human moment. A decision you'd probably make differently if given the chance or had all the information or wasn't up against some power play or even a hidden agenda. And instead of being coached, you're punished. Now, I've seen it happen to really, really great people. And let me be honest with you, I've even lived it too. Even with over 30 years of experience in HR and leadership, even while sitting in a senior leadership seat, I wasn't immune to it. And let me tell you exactly what happened. So back when I was a director of HR, I made a decision that yes, it turned out to be a mistake, and it involved about $1,500. And before you ask, yes, it was 100% recoverable. And a matter of fact, I did recover it. No one lost a penny. No policies were broken. I owned it, took responsibility, moved quickly to fix it, and handled it just like any seasoned pro would in less than one day. And I brought it to my boss. I laid out the situation. I even shared the resolution, which had already worked. And his response, maybe you should not get your raise this year. In that tone, in that attitude, metric ton of ego screaming out. And that was the moment that I decided I was going to resign. A full year of high performance, leading the company into a new era, pushing through the change, holding people accountable, setting a powerful tone for the team. And one minor misstep became a weapon. That moment, that pissed me off. Not because I couldn't handle criticism, but because it was never about correction. It was about punishment, dressed up as leadership. You see, here's what happens when leaders don't understand the difference between discipline and penalty. They act out in frustration instead of fairness. They confuse performance management with personal justice. They create chaos, not because the employee is difficult, but because they are deep in here. And here's the kicker. Most leaders, they're just repeating what they were shown. They were trained by someone who led with ego, not with principles, not core values, just a personal preference and a desperate need to feel in control. That's what they learned. So what happens? They start treating adults like children. They add punishment to correction. They shame people into submission and then they call it accountability. But let's be clear, discipline is coaching, penalty is control. One builds trust while the other breaks it. Now, can we agree that when judgment or ego drives the decision, reducing somebody's worth to a single mistake, despite all the value that they delivered, is retaliation and weaponized control? If your goal is performance improvement, your approach must be rooted in growth and not guilt. When you're reactive, you're not leading, you're venting, and your people feel that. Now, the moment you lead from your principles, not your preferences, is the moment you start earning real trust. And if you're watching this and aren't a manager or a leader yet, someday you may become one. We all lead at some point in our lives. And if you want to leave without creating damage, if you want to be the kind of leader that people trust instead of fear, then learn this one thing right now. Discipline builds people, punishment breaks them. Because the moment you hold any power, you, who you are, will be magnified. So the question isn't if you'll lead, it's what kind of legacy you'll leave when you do. Now, the lesson here is whoever sows injustice reaps calamity. He agrees with me too. So, you want to talk about difficult people? You want to talk about chaos? You might be dealing with someone who pushes the boundaries, challenges authority, drains the room. But if your reaction is rooted in ego or emotion, you're not managing the chaos, you're actually multiplying it. So, what if the chaos you're trying to fix is the chaos you created by how you responded? What if your example of strong leadership was actually modeled by someone addicted to control? What would shift if you stopped correcting people to be right and started correcting them to build trust? You're not leading a classroom of children. You're leading adults, and they come with complex emotions, years of experiences, and challenges that you may never fully see. So, if you're a leader of any kind, first time supervisor, senior manager, mid level director, or even up in the C suite, here is your call to step up. Hold the standard, but drop the hammer because not everything is a nail. Lead with discipline, not with penalty. Correct with strength, not spite. And stop repeating the failures of those leaders who never learned the difference. You know, the ones that taught you. Because if you don't, you'll become the very example that trained you wrong in the first place. Now, if this video hit home and you know that you could use some support in this area, I've got a free resource that's going to help you and will give you immediate results as soon as you use it because, let's face it, success rewards speed. It's packed with foundational scripts, powerful phrases that you can use to cut through chaos, diffuse ego, and get to the heart of the matter, even with that narcissistic boss. Because let's be real, even as leaders, we still answer to somebody. And if you want this tool, and I've been using these exact words for 25 years, visit heybrenda.com and you're going to get my scripts to give you that boost that you need in order to get through the most nerve-grating conversations with less pressure and better results. Make your job easier by learning how to communicate with clarity, confidence, and impact.